Hello everyone, Cartridge Must Be Destroyed. We're going to show you a demonstration on here how to put your waterslide decals for the 5th installment of Heraldic Waterslide Decals on your shields and other things like that. Decals on. Now, the one thing I will say in this project here is that we're doing something a little different, and we have a whole sheet of, this is a single decal, each image here, of a pattern. And we have these different pattern types, and you can read more about them on the Kickstarter. We've got these different medieval pattern types that are just a single rectangular decal here, and you could cut it out and you got an entire big decal, or you can do what I've done is you measure and cut them out to match as closely as possible the shield backing you want to do. You can use you could trace with a pencil, you could cut it out yourself manually like I did, but in any case, the idea here is that you have a rectangle shaped decal like I showed you here, and then you can shape it and use it in any way you want. So you could put it on the side of a horse, you could put it on flags, or you could put it on whatever kind of shield you have or want. So you can check that out on the Kickstarter, but I'm gonna start with that one here now. And the cool thing is that we're actually going to show you, once I put this in water here, let that sit a bit, you can put the pattern decal on here to save yourself time instead of painting on the pattern yourself, and then when that's dry you can put another decal on top, so you kind of don't have to worry about the finer details of painting a perfect pattern on the back. That's kind of the idea here. You're either gonna fidget with the decal to put it on or take many hours to actually draw a pattern on there. So what I always do in my videos with the shield is I will take my Ard coat. My Ard coat is a as I said before, what's the word I'm looking for? It's escaped me. A varnish, and it makes things look shiny. And we'll do that there. We're just gonna put it on there on the shield like so. And then I get right into it. I don't let it dry too long, but that's on there. That's supposed to act as a protective coat. I've also put on decals without it. They work fine. But I think just for the purposes of adding on decals, it might be better just to include it anyway. So now with my Ard coat there, and the new, oh, I got some on my finger there. Now with the new decal here I'm gonna slide off the design, and I'm gonna use my fingers because it might be easier with the size. And look at that, I'm gonna try and position it here on the shield. And you can already see here, I've got transparent squares in there, plus white squares. So I'm gonna try and line it up as closely as possible. All right, and you can see here, in the end, I got something going like this, right? So now I have these squares here. You'll just have to line it up and try and get it as straight as possible. As you can see here, it looks pretty good. You can have your designs on here and try and match them up to your shield. Now, this one was a little hard for me to do because on camera, away from my eyes, I can't really show it very well from holding it from a distance. So for me, I turned off the camera just to make sure it lines up. But the idea here is to have these shield designs on there that create a pattern effect. And that pattern effect can be then, you can apply a second decal on top. I'll do that right now, actually. So, oops, I hit the camera there. So what you do then is that you're gonna put this, I put a Fleur-de-lys second decal in there. I'll let that get wet, doesn't take very long. And then I'm gonna put on top of this shield here a second decal, and that'll have not only the pattern and the image that I've made from the, from this decal here, but also have a Fleur-de-lys on top. All right, and then in the end, I ended up with something like this. So you can see that I have a pattern on the background. I didn't have to paint it, I just had to apply the decal on, and then I put another decal on top of that pattern to get that kind of look. And then, from a distance here, it looks really well. Now, I won't lie to you guys here. Now, this stuff here is a little more technical than my regular decals, because on most decals, and I'll show you here, most decals that I normally have done in the past, the simple task has always been, put the decal in the water, you grab your Ard coat, right, and you simply put on the shield, the Ard coat where you want the decal to go, I usually cover it all. This case, I'll just do that one area there. And then normally, you know, I take off this, oh, it's still not wet enough. We'll let that get wet, but you basically slide it off and you're sticking it on where it goes. Now, it's much, much simpler and faster, as you can see, to just do a single image and align it with the patterns, because you're gonna have to shape them yourselves and cut them out yourselves. And the single decal images, as you can see, are much easier once you got the hard coat on to just get on and maneuver it. So with these new patterns coming out that I've showed you guys here, you're going to have to be a little patient with it. But I'll tell you something, getting this on only took me maybe 10 minutes tops, as I waited for it to dry. If I painted all those squares like I've done before with my models, I spend like a single shield, I can easily spend over an hour just trying to make it look as perfect as possible. But with this, I think you can just speed it up, and then you have really good looking squares. You're just gonna have to figure out the best way to align it to whatever you're sticking it on. So I hope that helps you guys have an extra tool in your wargaming and your miniature collections to help you, you know, get stuff faster on the table. Now finally, as I show you in each of my videos, I do in the end use Lamy and medium to seal it. It is a matte finish, and that should take out some shine. There are stronger matte varnishes out there if you want an even better finish, but I use that and then my other stuff. But yeah, so like I said, putting on a single decal, very, very simple. I've got lots of videos that I've done this in before. I just wanted to show you guys the results of having, if you're patient with them, of having a shield with all of the backgrounds on it.